Hey y'all, so welcome back. Just hit my flower, sorry Lavender. Welcome back to my channel, Pursuing Change with Shanae. So today, I just wanted to touch on something that I spoke about, I want to say probably in my intro video. So if you haven't seen that, I'll link it down below. And it's also probably in my potato cleanse intro video because I talked about my weight story there and I mentioned it. But today, if you haven't guessed it from the little intro slide, we are talking about birth control and why I quit and what I do now. So I mentioned before that I gained about 60 pounds within, I want to say, a 2.5 year period, all from birth control and stress. But let's just get into the story. So basically, I started out around 18. I was taking birth control pills like any other girl was at that time. And, I was completely fine. Went off to college and I found that I absolutely just hated taking the pill. I could not remember to take the pill. That was like the main issue. And it was just something I didn't like, having to go down to the clinic to get the pills, because they would only give you 2 or 3 at a time. And so I started looking into other forms of birth control, but I knew I didn't want to do the ring or any of that stuff. That's when a friend of mine mentioned a bar that you could get in your arm that they would surgically put in there, and it would stay in there for 3 years, and you wouldn't have to worry about taking a pill. You wouldn't really have a period. And I was just like, well, that's a win-win, because I don't want to take pills. I don't want a period. I didn't appreciate my period at the time. Ladies, appreciate your period. It is a glorious thing. So I got the bar in, and everything was fine. And then maybe about 6 months later, I started to notice a little bit of weight gain, but I was just kind of like, well, I'll be fine, because I was really small then. I'll insert a picture like over my face right now. I was really small, so I wasn't really worried about gaining weight. In fact, I kind of wanted my butt to get bigger, so I was kind of crossing my fingers for that. But down the line, 2.5 years later, I had gained 60 pounds. I was 184 pounds, and I was getting ready to get married, and I was just like, how did I gain all this weight? And talking to my mom and actually going and reading the side effects, weight gain was definitely one of them. And on top of that, I was stressed with work and, preparing for a wedding. I literally prepared for a wedding, I think, within like 12 weeks. So it was crazy. But yeah, that's what happened. And so as soon as I got married, I moved to Texas with my husband, and I got the bar out of my arm immediately and went back on birth control pills, which again, we all know that I don't like, because it's just something about having to take a pill every morning. But by that time, I was really tired of the hormones and the effects that it was having on me, as far as me looking into why I should be having a period and not having a period is not normal, and all of the things that hormones can do for you. So a little bit about what the hormones do and birth control in general. Hormones really kind of fake your period every month. So you're not even really on your true cycle, which is not a good thing. And you're not really truly ovulating each time either. Another thing is that actually 50% of unplanned pregnancies come from birth control. So that means something's not working. So I decided to go into alternatives, alternative forms. I knew I didn't want to do a pill, and I knew I wanted nothing with hormones. I heard about the IUD, and there is one without hormones, but I just didn't feel comfortable putting a little metal piece in me that was basically going to just kill my egg every month. So I decided to just keep searching, and that's when I came upon one. I think her name is FemmeHead. I hope that's her name on YouTube. But I'm going to link her YouTube down below. And if I got it wrong, I'll definitely I'll correct it in the video. But I found her on YouTube, and she had quit the birth control pill and decided to start doing the fertility awareness method. And I had no idea what that was. She recommended this book right here called Taking Charge of Your Fertility. She called it basically like the fertility Bible. So I went to my half-price bookstore and I picked it up and I started reading it, and I started learning about how to take charge of my fertility. And I haven't looked back since, guys. Like, it has been so awesome and easy, and I feel like each month I'm getting better, and my cycle is normal, and I have no hormones like raging through my system. It may take some time for the rest of them to get out, but I feel way, 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 way better. So let's just go into a little bit about the fertility awareness method. It's basically, there's 3 things that you want to do, but I would say there's ultimately 4 steps. So the first one, which you guys saw me in the beginning, was taking my temperature. So that is the first thing that you do. First thing in the morning, as soon as you get up, before you like pee or drink water or anything, because you don't want to alter your waking temperature. So you want to just immediately take that temperature. It's not going to be 98.6. It's going to be most likely lower, because it's what you're waking up at. As you go on through the day, your temperature rises, and that's when you get up to the 98.6 or higher if you're sick or whatever the case may be. So every morning you want to take your temperature, and you want to make sure that you immediately chart it. I use an app. I used to use paper, where you can chart down your temperatures on paper, but I now use an app. I'll show you guys that in a second. But you want to take the temperature first. And then the second step is checking cervical fluid, which I know may sound gross, but it's basically checking your discharge. And it could be as simple as you just looking at your panties throughout the day, on your panty liner or your panties, however you wear your undies, I don't know, but checking to see what kind of discharge you have. Or you can literally just check your vagina to see how your discharge is. And what you want to do is you just kind of feel it between your fingers. And there's different types of discharge. So there's creamy, watery, egg white, which will be very stretchy and feel like you're like playing in egg whites. And then there's like no discharge. And so you basically, after you've done that, you want to chart your discharge as well. You want to check it throughout the day, because it can change throughout the day, and you just want to make note of that. I know this may sound gross, but this is like the best way to learn what's going on with your body. You can tell literally just by your temperature and your cervical fluid whether or not you're ovulating and whether or not you're fertile. So that's already a win-win, and it's like 2 of the easiest things that take 2 minutes out of your day. And then the third step is checking your cervix. And this one is optional. You don't have to, because some women don't feel comfortable doing that, because you do have to stick your fingers up there to check your cervix. But if you are comfortable doing it, definitely do it, because you get to learn even more information about your cycle. So your cervix will be more open when you're ovulating and when you're fertile, versus it's going to be firm and closed when you're not. And so this is good to know, because you're actually only fertile for that time where the egg has actually dropped and is able to be contacted by sperm. So it's really about 2 days, although most people give themselves a week to use protection. So if you're having unprotected sex, just using a condom during that week. But you're really only fertile for about 1 to 2 days, just depending on how your cycle works. So those are the 3 steps. The 4th one is just charting it in your paper or on your phone. I prefer phone now. I did chart my first 2 cycles on paper, just so I could really get a gist of knowing what the information meant and being able to read it and understand it. But I was able to find an app called the Life app, it's a free app, but if you want the full range of being able to understand everything, you want to pay for it, and it's well worth it, because I use it every day. So basically it has sections where I can, and I'll insert a clip of this so you guys can see it, but you enter your mood, your symptoms, whether or not you had sex, if you had a weight gain, how your health was, nutrition, if you exercised, and your fertility, of course, which is your cervical fluid and your temperature and your cervix. So all 3 of those steps are within the app. And then the cool part is, based on your last few cycles, it'll kind of guesstimate for you when your next period will be and when your next ovulation day will be, and it's actually really spot on. So, it's not like just guesstimating just to guesstimate and make you feel better. Like, it's really, like, super correct. And then on top of that, there's areas where you can look at charts and actually be able to see, the graph with your temperatures, so that you can see, oh, well, this is when I ovulated, and then this is when, I'm in my luteal phase, and all of that. I know this sounds like a lot. So what I'm going to recommend is, if you're interested in the fertility awareness method, definitely get this book. It's Taking Charge of Your Fertility by Toni Weschler. And I found it at the half price bookstore. So instead of paying full price for it, I got it for half price. And it was a more newer version, which was great. They had the super old one, but I did not want that one. So I definitely recommend this book. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it at Barnes & Nobles. If you have half-price bookstores around you, definitely try there. But you don't even have to read, I know this is a huge book. You don't even have to read the whole book. The whole Taking Charge of Your Fertility is really like maybe the first like little chunk here. And then the rest is really just teaching you about cycles and menopause and PMS symptoms, and all of the, like half of the book is really about how to chart and all of that stuff. And so it's a really amazing book. I definitely have to agree, it is a fertility awareness Bible. I've been doing this for 3 cycles now, so 3 months. I've been off of birth control and I'm not pregnant, don't plan on getting pregnant, and this is a great way, whether you want to get pregnant or not, to be able to be successful in that, and also to just get to know your bodies. It is so amazing to be able to know what's going on in your body, why something's happening. You don't want to be the person who goes to the doctor and they ask you when your last period was and you have no idea. You know, I'll be able to pull out my phone and say, this is when my last period was, this is how long it lasted, this is how long my cycle was. It's good to know yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the best thing for you to know what's going on with yourself. Don't just leave it up to guesstimation, and don't just leave your fertility up to, you know, pharmaceutical companies, because they don't really know what's best for you either. So if you decide to go this route, definitely do it. If you have any questions, I can answer them as best as I can. Just leave me a comment below. I'm happy to help you. And definitely check out FemmeHead, because she is like YouTuber of periods, basically. She goes over so much stuff, all period related pretty much. She does dabble in other topics about life, but she mainly focuses on the menstrual cycle. So definitely check her out, because she has a ton of info. Anyways, so that's my birth control story, why I quit, and what I'm doing now. I'll see you guys on Monday for week 2 of the 52-day challenge. Well, 52 days of pursuing change challenge. And if you haven't signed up yet, if you haven't joined, I'm going to leave the link below for the Facebook group, but I'm also going to leave the link below for the last video that really explains what it is, because you guys don't want to miss this. If you really like fell off the wayside with your goals so far this year, I encourage you to join in, because we're refreshing and we're restarting our goals, and we're going to do it with a plan in place. So go ahead and check that video out now, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Peace out.
Let's play.